Hi everyone! In this video, we will demonstrate Ethernet cabling and peer-to-peer file sharing between two laptops. To begin, we carefully remove the outer sheath of the cable to expose the smaller wires inside. Once the outer covering was removed, we separated the wires and prepared them for the arrangement. We then arranged the wires according to the T568B color pattern, which is white-oranged, oranged, white-green, blue, white-blue, green, white-brown, and brown. After arranging the wires in the correct order, we straightened them to make them easier to handle and insert into the RJ45 plug. Straightening the wires is important because it helps avoid misalignment and makes the insertion process cleaner and more accurate. Once the wires were straightened, we trimmed them to the proper length so they would fit neatly inside the connector. Before inserting them into the plug, we checked the arrangement once again to make sure the wire sequence was still correct. This is a very important step because once the cable is crimped, the wires can no longer be easily removed or rearranged. Next, we carefully inserted the wires into the RJ45 plug, making sure that each wire entered the correct slot. After confirming that everything was properly aligned and inserted, we used a crimping tool to crimp the connector. After finishing the first end, we repeated the same process on the other end of the cable. Then we separated the colored wires and arranged them again using the same T568B standard. We carefully arranged the wires in this exact order and straightened them again. This part may seem repetitive, but it is just as important as the first end because both sides need to be done correctly for the cable to work properly. After straightening the wires, we aligned them evenly and trimmed them to the proper length. We then inserted them carefully into the second RJ45 plug, making sure that all the wires entered their proper positions and were pushed fully to the end of the connector. After checking the alignment and placement one more time, we used the crimping tool again to secure the second connector. Now that both ends of the Ethernet cable were completed, the next step was to verify whether the cable was working properly. As shown in the demonstration, the tester confirmed that the cable was working properly when the lights on the tester appear in the correct sequence. After completing the cable, we proceeded to the second part of the activity, which is establishing a peer-to-peer connection between two laptops. A peer-to-peer connection means directly connecting two computers so they can communicate and share resources with each other without needing a central server. For this demonstration, we used the Ethernet cable we prepared and connected it directly to both laptops. Once both devices were physically connected, the next step was to set up the laptops for communication. When the network connection was confirmed, we proceeded to enable network discovery and file sharing. Network discovery allows one laptop to detect the other device on the network. Meanwhile, file sharing allows selected files on the folders to be accessed and transferred between the two laptops. Once these settings were enabled, we selected a sample file on one laptop that we wanted to share. We then share the file or place it in a shared folder so it could be accessed by the second laptop. This file transfer serves as a proof that the peer-to-peer connection was successfully established and that file sharing was working properly between the two devices. To complete the demonstration, we will show you that we transfer the file from one laptop to the other. As you can see in the demonstration, the file was successfully sent, received, and opened. This confirms that both the Ethernet cable and the peer-to-peer setup were functioning correctly. And that concludes our practical demonstration. Thanks for watching!